Hello, so my name is Eva and I grew up in suburban Minnesota and now I'm living in Finland and attending Jämsä Opisto, and it's been quite a journey.
Hi, I'm Derek Neville. I'm from Monticello, Minnesota. I'm originally from Washington, but I've been enjoying it at Reisjärvi Opisto, and I guess it's probably my 11th or 12th school. I don't know for sure.
I'm Julia Hiluka from a small town in Minnesota. I am attending Ranua Opisto, and yeah.
So basically we started this vlog because one day me and Julia were sitting in Portugal and we're having a sincere struggle to get some gas, right? And so we were just taking a video on Snapchat and sending it to our friends, and then we were like, hey,
why don't we
start a vlog? So then we were like, so we need a third person, because since I'm from Jämsä and she's from Ranua, and we thought and we
needed someone from Reisjärvi, right? And so we sent a message to Derek, and basically we were surprised by how easily he accepted it.
Well, when I got your message, I just kind of figured that I was their last option, you know. But I figured they're desperate, so I might as well help them a little bit anyways. We'll be using this vlog to talk about our life here at Opisto and in Finland, and we'll also be using it to talk about whatever we find interesting.
So nothing.
For me, being in Finland is a dream come true, so I think I have pretty good reviews of it. I've dreamed about it since I was a little kid, and first hearing about Opisto, I was like, oh, that sounds like a really good idea. I really would like to try it, and it would be so cool if I could go too. This year, Opisto year, is not my first time I've been in Finland. I was here about 2 years ago. I was visiting family, and that was a really good experience, and I could not wait to be back. So I'm really happy now that I was able to be here.
For me, going to Opisto was something that I just always knew I was going to do since I was a little kid. And especially then 3 years ago when my sister was at Opisto, I just solidified the need that I was going to go.
I guess when I was young, I always just kind of thought I was going to come to Opisto, and I didn't know like where I wanted to go or what I was going to do, or I heard so much from my parents because they had gone, and then when my sister went, I heard so much from her, and so it was just kind of, I had this expectation that I was just going to go, and it was kind of weird for me because for a long time, in the beginning, I just thought that, well, I'm gonna go to Jämsä, and that's where I wanted to go for a long time, and I had it on my application that I was gonna go to Jämsä, and then on the last day that we could turn applications in, which when I turned mine in, I switched mine to Reisjärvi for some reason, which I'm very glad for.
When I first got to Finland, I was just in awe of everything. Like, whether it be the cars, that they're slightly smaller than the cars at home, or that the pine trees are so beautiful in the summer and in the winter, or also even the fact that the food is kind of bland. It was just like, oh, Finland, this is amazing. The same thing was for at Opisto. Like, actually the first week was kind of a stressful week because there were so many new people and so many new faces, and they're all speaking a language that I never have really spoken in my life. No, I never have. And it was scary. I remember the first night sitting in my dorm, and Laurel, the other American girl here, is in the same dorm as me, and she had gone to take a shower, and so it was me and all the Finns, and I was just terrified.
In the first week, because I'm in the week, what we call the aikuislinja, or the adult line here at Reisjärvi, and we have to work a certain amount of weekends, off weekends here, everybody else is away from the Opisto. And I was here for the first 6 weeks of Opisto straight. I didn't go to any off weekends because I was working. That was my choice to make, and in a way, it really wore down on me. You know, when you're always around people, you always have, especially in the beginning, you have this expectation. You know, you're an AMCAN, and you're just kind of looked at as somebody. You always need to feel like you need to be with people. It didn't take me long to realize that I didn't really care about that, and I've just been my own self, and sometimes I go hide in my own little corners, which is okay.
Then the first couple months, I was just in awe of everything around me. Like, this is so amazing. I love this country. I really like it.
I've always kind of wanted to learn Finnish, and I get to do that here. and it's been kind of cool because even though I'm very scared at speaking it, I've noticed that I've learned quite a bit more than I've realized. Sure, I still don't know very much, but I can understand a little bit more than a lot more than at the beginning of the year. And it's been really fun to start daring to speak it a little bit with my friends and constantly learning something new and being able to now sing and understand what I'm singing, and it's just really nice.
Opisto is such a good place to be in, and I guess I've learned so much here at Reisjärvi, and I I think that mostly Opisto is about learning how to function in society. You learn how to communicate with people more, and you have all these responsibilities that you have to do, whether it's just a simple dishes turn or a simple cleaning turn, but it's some sort of responsibility and you're held accountable for it. So it's really good in that aspect.
I've learned a lot about myself since I've come to Finland, and especially about the things that are important for me in friends and in life. And I've had to question a lot of things about just how I lived at home, like whether it be something as little as I make my bed here now, and I never made my bed at home, or just like the little things that everyone does in the US, and everyone does it way different here, and you're like, oh, there's a way different way to live your life, and they're not necessarily so different, but enough different, and that's really eye-opening, and it teaches you a lot.
Being somewhere new and different has been really good for me. I've learned so much, not only about like myself, but like about everything around me and what has like affected things in this world. Maybe, I don't know, I've been able to see how things work in a different way. I guess I've been able to think about things differently, and I think the thing I like about Finland is that just I have a general feeling of comfort being here. I feel like I have I just clicked with something, and I feel like it's been really good for me because I have always wanted to meet new people and be in a new area, learn a new language and culture, and I get to have all those experiences now that I am here in Finland. I think the main thing that I really like about being here is the new friends. I've gotten to know a lot of new people, and especially a lot recently I've been really getting to know more people and daring to speak with new people and try to a little bit speak the language. I have had so many new adventures and experiences with these new friends. This glitter, for example, we did a prank last night, and then we continued it this morning, and a few of us girls ended up with glitter on our face.
My favorite thing in Finland is the people. There's so many people here, especially at Opisto, that I love. And I'm gonna miss them so much when I go home. And it kind of sucks that the world is so big, because you get to meet some really cool people, especially when you live with people 24/7.
You really have to be yourself. You don't really have an option because you're around these people for such a long time, and here you go to class, and then when you're done with classes for the day, well, you hang around with those same people that you're there at school. I will never regret coming to Opisto. Just it's such a great opportunity being able to go abroad and seeing a new culture. Like Finland has been wonderful for me in that way, where like sure in America our culture is like culture. It's like such a big country. You don't have like these big, or like the whole country as a whole doesn't have this big culture or like defined culture. Whereas if you come here to Finland, it's such a small country. If you put it like next to Minnesota, it's about 1.5 times the size of Minnesota. So it's so small that you kind of have this distinct culture that you don't have in the US because it's so big. You might have these subcultures there in the US, but they're still not as defined as this Finnish culture, because this Finnish culture is one country, so it's that much stronger. And especially when you factor in that, they had their own independence. It's such a big thing here, and it's because it's so fresh in their mind, because it wasn't that long ago that it happened. And it's been such a privilege to be here in that way, being able to, especially being here Suomi-100, their 100-year Independence Day. And it's been so interesting to see what that was like. It was, especially in comparison to US, it's so much more of a somber occasion. And it's probably mostly because it's so fresh. Like I said earlier, that it's so fresh in their minds, this war with the Russians earlier on. So that's why they are always thinking of why they got this independence, and that's what more of the day is about. And they remember these veterans of the past.
I've come to see a lot of things here that are really nice. Like the fact that people spend a lot of time outside and they walk places a lot. And like from my window right now, I can see a cross-country skier going. And also, they tend not to do small talk, which is nice for me because then you can just pretend that you speak Finn when you're at the grocery store or something. You don't need to worry that they'll say something to you don't understand because they say like 5 words. And that's actually really nice.
I love Finland. There's so much of the culture that I love. It's so fun going to concerts here, like in the church or at churches, and being able to hear all these nice church music there.
Overall, I think Finland is a really nice country, and I'm really glad that I get to call it home for a year. And I think that if there was anywhere in the world, if I couldn't live in North America, Finland would be my first choice.
Basically, I think that Finland has just been a really good experience for me, and I'm very happy that I can be here. And I'm really dreading when I have to leave, not because I have to go home, but because I have to leave this wonderful country that I have learned to really love and appreciate so much. And I'm gonna have to leave my friends and the Opisto, and I think that it will be a lot different when I go home, but I am so thankful that I can be here in Finland and that I've had this experience.